Can you all see these slides? It says learning outcome
Yes.
1.
Yeah.
So today is the final session of Law for Accounting, Unit 8, and my name's Shazia Khan, and we'll be doing the final session today, which is the assignment discussion session. But before I go on to doing the assignment discussion session, I want to go through the 4 learning outcomes and then go on to the assignment session. The learning outcomes have been recorded individually, so you can get access to them. So I'll briefly go through each learning outcome because we've got some new people on here today as well. So learning outcome 1, which was to understand the elements of law affecting commercial practice. And when we look at law, why do we think law is so important in regards to any sort of organization or business?
To know what to comply with, what not. I think the framework provides a framework.
Yeah, what to comply with and what. Yeah, it's the framework of everything, and we must follow it. And Hanish, how do we follow it through? What do we do?
So we have a set of rules. We have a set of guidance. We have peer monitoring. We have regulators that we have to report to as well. And henceforth,
we must comply with them. Yeah, we must comply with them because there's rules and regulations and laws, statute laws that are in place that us as an organisation or a commercial setting have to apply and comply with these laws. And if we don't, what happens? Is it a breach of law?
Breach of the law, the regulation, and it could have either civil or criminal, kind of consequences.
Yeah, criminal offences as well. So we need to apply with comply with them. Sorry. So the learning outcome, what we did in the learning outcome 1 was to develop an understanding how English law impacts on businesses and professional accountancy practices. And we looked the indicative content that we relied on. We looked at contract law, and we looked at the elements of a contract, a valid contract, how contracts can be terminated, remedies for breach of contract, and relevant case law. Why is contract law so important in regards to an organisation or business?
It determines what is a valid contract. What are the remedies? What are the performance conditions?
So we've got offer, acceptance, consideration, terms of a contract, implied express terms, and remedies as well, which we looked at in breach of a contract. We then went on to look at the law of agency. So we looked at principles of agencies, rights and duties of an agent, including partnerships, implication of the agency relationships, and we looked at case law in regards to that. Then we identified law of tort and what constitutes liability for negligence. What is negligence?
Is where you have a duty of care and you don't. One is obviously duty of care, right? Negligence could be professional.
So give me an example of where negligence will occur in a scenario.
Well, think about NHS, right? The negligence would be, I think it was your example, Shazia, I'm putting back to you. Doing a surgery on a patient and leaving something, kind of untreated or whatnot.
Yeah, or if you've negligently done an operation which has caused the person or the individual to become paralyzed, or they're not able to do something after the surgery, or you've not done the surgery properly, you've kind of done the wrong surgery, you've given the wrong medication. This is forms of negligence, and it does happen within the NHS quite a lot. People may, you may have heard of it, but I've known people that I've represented that have dealt with negligent cases and been paid out quite a lot because of the negligence of the hospital. So negligence is a big thing, and it's not just on the forms of a hospital. It could be any area, within a business, within the fact that you are negligent in selling something to a consumer. So these are things that happen. Okay, so we've got negligent misstatement we looked at vicarious liability and remedies for claims of negligence and case law. We also referred to a little bit, which I'm just going to go a little bit on here, types of law. So we looked at public law, private law, or civil law, and what it constitutes. So public law is constitutional, administrative, and criminal and private or civil law is contract or property and trusts. And then again, we identified what contracts were. So then we went on to learning outcome 2. Okay, can you see that in learning outcome 2?
Yep.
It says understand the company and insolvency law.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, so we went on to learning outcome 2, which was to understand the company and insolvency law. And the indicative content we looked at here, we looked at formation, financing and administration of companies. We looked at procedures for company and limited partnership registration, including a memorandum of association and articles of association. We looked at advantages and disadvantages of limited companies and limited partnerships compared to partnerships, sole traders and other legal structures. Is it better to be in a limited company or limited liability partnership? Which one's compared to partnership or sole trader?
Obviously, administratively, it's probably, kind of one is administration. From risk perspective, it is better to be in a limited company or a limited partnership rather than sole trader.
Yeah. We then went on to look at the veil of incorporation and when it can be lifted. Requirements of Companies Act. So Company Act 2000.
Sorry to interject. I still am unclear what is this veil of incorporation is.
Veil of incorporation, obviously, when you look at company law, the veil of incorporation, when does it lift? When do we need, when is it that we have to, in regards to, if a company does something wrong, okay, when is that veil of incorporation lifted? When are they allowed to, in regards to if they've committed something or it literally, the whole point of it ensures that a company is a separate legal entity from its directors and shareholders.
I see. Okay.
And it protects the personal assets of the people that own it and the investors.
Yeah, okay.
So the veil of incorporation is then, do you understand that? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I understood.
So it's where there's a separate legal entity.
Yeah. Okay. It's a different legal, different personality than the directors itself. That's what we're saying, really.
Yeah. Then we looked at requirements for Companies Act. We looked at exemptions for medium, small and micro enterprises, procedures for the issues of shares, including shares issued at premium and preemption rights, capital maintenance. We looked at share transfer. Then we went to look at some roles on the appointment of directors, officers and shareholders, so appointment and removal of directors. Directors' powers, roles and duties. Do you think directors' powers and roles and duties are much more than shareholders?
Yes.
They are, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We looked at consequences of breach of duty, influence of shareholders on company through meetings and resolutions, shareholder statutory rights and member rights for limited liability partnerships, and the role of the company secretary in company and limited liability partnership. We then went on to look at insolvency. We looked at the fixed and floating charges over assets, company voluntary arrangements, administrative orders, receivership, compulsory and voluntary liquidation, and means of termination of a company. And we prioritize for distribution and liquidation and rights of creditors and employees, bankruptcy and personal insolvency. So we identified what a company was and then looked at the veil of incorporation and things what I've looked at in the indicative context. So that was learning outcome 2. When we go on to learning outcome 3, we look, can you see that as learning outcome 3? Yes.
Yep.
The slide.
Yes.
So we looked at the impact of criminal law on business and professional organizations. What do you think when we look at the impact of law? Irene, what do you think it is? Why do you think it's so important on business and organizations? Irene's not.
Why is it important
for businesses and organizations? What do you think? What do you think the impact of committing criminal offences on a business?
Well, it's not only bad for their reputation.
Yeah.
It could lead to their being closed down. They
Yeah.
cease operations. They are fined
Yeah.
huge sums. The employees of the organization will lose their jobs. So if the company
Yeah.
closes, there are lots of unemployment by the employers.
Could it be in regards to a criminal offence? Could they be sentenced?
Pardon?
Could they be sentenced?
Yes, they could be jailed. They could,
Yeah.
the top, the major owners, as we can see in the other organizations, some examples of organizations in the past that have committed these criminal offenses haven't been tried. The top, the head of the organizations are jailed, so they could be imprisoned. Yeah. So it's quite huge.
It does have a great impact on a business or organization.
Yeah.
So in the indicative content in learning outcome, thank you, Irene. In learning outcome 3, we looked at the legal principles, legislation, case law, and ethical codes. We looked at ethical codes related to business and professional organizations. For example, government guidance, codes issued by professional bodies or specific industries. Why is it important to follow these ethical codes?
Well, to stay on the right side of the law.
Yeah, to stay on the right side of the law, but it's guidance, isn't it, from professional bodies that you must follow this.
Yeah, the minimum expected standards. Yeah.
Yeah, the expectation that you must follow. For example, in law, we must follow the rules and the codes of ethics of the Solicitors Regulation Authority. Okay, and we must follow that in regards to becoming, confidentiality, ethical issues such as, empathy, confidentiality, things like that. And that's it. If you want to become a barrister or solicitor, you'll have to follow the SRA codes. And the same for any sort of professional bodies, you've got to follow the codes of that body. Status of each, for example, law, regulation, guidance. We've got the relationship and interaction, corporate governance and ethical practice, malpractice, fraud and bribery, elements and consequences of malpractice, defences against malpractice for professional accountants, elements of consequence of fraud. And is there growing concern within fraud, bribery, money laundering?
Yes.
Why is there such a growing concern?
I think where the firms are not, I think it's conflict of interest, it is in a lot of situations.
Okay. And
if somebody is giving an advice to maximize their revenue rather than what's, following the rule, what is right, what's wrong. I think I'll keep giving examples of banking, right? Meaning where we're not allowed to take somebody, on a lunch or, to throw a party or something, bribery, and, because you could put it's conflict.
That's an ethical issue, isn't it?
Yes.
If you,
yeah,
it's like
an
saying
ethical issue, and it's criminalized as well, by the way, now. So by the rules. So yeah.
It's like saying because part-time I'm doing a counselling course as well, and it's like saying what's ethically right and what's ethically wrong. So for example, a paramedic comes to maybe you've had a seizure or something, paramedic comes across and tries to take you to the hospital. You see this paramedic and he's got blue eyes and very attractive, and you fall in love. Okay, just an example for you. This is ethically wrong because the paramedic will give you his phone number and then it'll carry on to a relationship. So things that are ethically wrong in your organization or in your profession, you need to be keeping away of them things. And ethics is a big thing. And elements of, confidentiality, your boundaries, your conflict of interest, these all need to be taken into account. Like you said, Najam, you can't take someone out to a meal, can you?
Yep.
It may just be lunch, but it's still quite a big thing. Elements of bribery, money laundering, big concern at the moment, and they've got POCA that takes across, you know, things like if there's any sort of assets, they will take that in regards to your money laundering and things. National and international regulations relating to money laundering. What constitutes money laundering? So reporting and other requirements for professional accountants in relation to money laundering. Consequences of failing to meet money laundering requirements and penalties for money laundering. Now, when it comes to money laundering, do you think most accountants do report everything?
Not really, but you're supposed to. Yeah,
they're supposed to. But do you think when it comes to things like that, do you think people become greedy?
Yep, that's where conflict comes in, and you know.
What's that?
Conflict of interest.
Sorry. Yeah, but I've known people that kind of, you know, become greedy in these kind of situations
and turn a blind eye. I mean,
yes,
some accountants would be the ones to suggest how best, you know, to circumvent the law.
Yeah, people do turn a blind eye, Irene, and you're right. And the reason is it's greed that takes over. Hanish, what do you think? Do you think people do just kind of brush things under the carpet sometimes?
No, it's not just a matter of thinking, it's a matter of fact.
Yeah.
In this country, as well as on international platforms,
yeah,
there are organizations.
And even the banks, you know, look at the big banks, you know, we come to hear some of them being fined, the top, you know, the really top banks in the world. A lot of the activities they do, they support money laundering, these drug barons, these big time and all of that, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pablo
Escobar style, yes.
I can tell you from a personal experience that where banks are being investigated by the regulators, like FCA or PRA, they send the accountancy firm, for example, Grant Thornton, to do the investigation. The fees are paid by the bank themselves, and they have to then look at all the issues, why the regulators are disputing some of the reports and submissions. What the banks do is go to Grant Thornton in Kuwait and ask them to give them the remediation, the resolution, or give them the knowledge on how to overcome these investigations. So it's a conflict of interest in that sense. And these practices are happening, but because they're outside of the UK jurisdiction, it doesn't get, you know, it doesn't get
they won't fall within the, no, they wouldn't fall within the law, would they, Hanish?
Yeah, and those are the borders and those are the limitations of the laws of the country.
Yeah, it's quite it's interesting to hear things like that, but it's also quite upsetting to know that we live in a society like that. Yeah,
where we talk about ethical finance, you know, an organization, and again, I'm talking from personal knowledge, where a law firm is on the panel of ethical values, and they are also part of the panel where they deal with the law industry and firms within that platform, where they are supposed to be dealing with cases in an ethical and moral manner. And then the other side of the same organization is committing the fraud by submitting fabricated evidence in order to win their case for their client.
Yeah, it's so true. I agree with you. I've worked for firms and I've been quite astonished at how they work and how they've got through without being audited. And it's disgusting. And I've worked for firms that have been shut down because of issues of money laundering and things like that. So and I've known good solicitors that have got into the money side of it and been struck off and sent to prison. because of money. Just, you know, you get rich for a day and then, but it's your ethics, your morals. I mean, for me, I just think it's morally wrong, and I think, you know, doing something like that.
Yeah, and employees
especially
speak up.
Especially if you've worked if you've worked in the profession for such a long time, why you know, ruin your reputation for a couple of money here and there? But it does happen, you know, it does happen.
Yeah. And
people do it.
HSBC, they had an employee who spoke up and said that there were issues with LIBOR fixing. LIBOR is borrowing between banks, and banks were not policing, but they were actually rigging the interest rates. So consumers, clients, and customers were being overcharged on their borrowings, and they were getting away with it. And somebody in HSBC spoke up about it, and they got sacked.
Yeah,
they got bullied.
That was the whistleblower, isn't it? What we talked about.
Yeah, and they don't get protected as they're supposed.
No, they don't get any protection. They don't. It's all a lie when they say that you shouldn't discriminate against whistleblowers because they get no protection at all. Yeah.
The board know exactly who's done the whistleblowing because that information is passed on, and then this you know, they pick on those whistleblowers, and then they make out that they're incompetent or they bully them out of the organisation.
Yeah, it's really sad but we live in that society where things like this will always happen, and you know, people will be, you know, breaching the laws, breaching professional standards. So what we looked at money laundering, we looked at the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime, we looked at Computer Misuse Act 1919 and offences and penalties under the Computer Misuse Act, cybercrime under fraud 2006, and cyber offences and penalties. Then we went on to learning outcome 4. Can you see this? Let me just go on the bottom. Learning outcome 4, yes?
Yep.
Can you see this, yeah?
Yes.
To understand areas of law affecting business and professional operations. And the indicative content here was to look at analyze the requirements of data protection legislation. We looked at explaining how intellectual property can be protected. We looked at assessing the impact of legislation relating to employment. And we looked at 4M1, which was to assess the importance of intellectual property rights to businesses. What kind of laws, when we looked at the indicative content, we looked at data protection legislation. Why do you think data protection legislation is important?
To protect people's rights, and obviously for companies to know their obligations towards to the
for
people
companies to know their obligations, but protecting their employees' rights and you know, personal data. Intellectual property obviously looked at the protection through copyrights, patents, trademarks, and remedies for unlawful intellectual property. We then went on to employment law, which is a big part of an organisation, and things like key features of a contract, the contract of employment, unfair and wrongful dismissal. Why can someone be wrongfully dismissed? What's discrimination? Sorry?
Where they do credit checks, or where they do checks on the employees every 2 or 3 years within banking sector, they may have incorrect personal data on there, which claims that the individual committed a crime or civil action against them. For example, CCJs, county court.
When we look at equal opportunities, what are they trying to say within an organisation? What should we be doing? Treating everyone where equally?
Yeah, equally, well, fairly and equally, right? Gender bias and all that stuff.
We should discriminate against the protected characteristics, which are age, gender, religion. We should protect everyone. So these are really important within an organisation. So now we've looked at the 4 learning outcomes. Now we're going to look at the assignment session. And let me just get that up. Sorry, I'm still sniffling, and I think it's this session. Right, let me just have a look at if you need to look at that. No. So now this is the assignment session. So we've looked at the 4 learning outcomes, learning outcome 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we've got to look at the assignment discussion. Okay, so this is now you have 2 weeks to submit the assignment after the module is done. So this is the last session today. Okay, important points to consider. So take a specific organization to start the assignment, PowerPoint or report, write an introduction about the chosen company, organization, give proper headings and subheadings. So make your document look presentable and professional. Number your figure and table. So make sure that when you are doing a task or a learning outcome, make sure you highlight it as the heading. Put your name on, put the unit you're doing, and also put your college, your number on, okay? And then also put a contents page in as well to identify where you're doing your work. Follow the numbering on the assignment presentation as against the assignment brief. Ensure at least 12 to 15 references. References should be Harvard referencing. Do you all know what Harvard referencing is?
No, I don't know.
No, sorry.
Oh, have you not ever used Harvard referencing? So Harvard referencing, they have a link on Moodle that you could use Harvard referencing. The other thing I can show you on here that I use for my students, which might help you, is something called Neil's Toolbox. Can you see this?
Yep.
Right, so if you go onto this, it's called Neil's Toolbox, and it's really, really good because it generates everything for you, okay? And my students use it for their assignments. When it comes to doing your assignment, if you take something out of a book and you need to reference in text, that means in the assignment you would put your the author's surname and the year, okay? But when you're doing it for the reference, so if you go to this, so here you look at choose a reference. So let's reference a book, okay? Just an example for you, so you've got an idea of how to reference it. So the book is called Accountancy. Let's just give you an Accountancy and Law, okay? Can you all see what I'm doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's by so the Miller H. Publisher Peacock. Just an example for you, so you've got an idea. These kind of sites will help you. Publishing London, year of publication maybe 2021, and the edition is maybe first edition, and the page 34. Okay, so now you go to generate the reference. That's just for a book. Okay, so if you go to that, can you see it's generated the reference for you?
Right, yeah.
Can you see it there? It says, just 1 minute, it says Miller H. I put all the details in and it generated it for me. It put the dots in the places it needs to go, and the you know, the colons and everything in the right places. So could you see that that's the book? So you would copy and paste that and put it into your bibliography or reference list at the end.
Right, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you needed to put it in text, sorry, if you needed to put it in the assignment, you would just need that, you know, in text. So if you're writing an assignment example, okay, and you needed to reference inside the assignment, so you took a quote out of the assignment, you will do in text referencing like that.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah? But
Yeah.
at the end, your reference list is all that, okay? So this is a really good website. If you want to use it, it's up to you. It's called Neil's Toolbox. It's really good for you to use, and it will help you. So the Harvard system that UK Varsity use is called Harvard System of Referencing, not the numerical one. So be careful you use the Harvard system. Any questions?
Are there any examples, Shazia, for completed assignments which others have done? So
they may be on Moodle. Okay. I will try to find you, just to see if I can find you an example on mine that I might have some assignments that I can try and show you that I have marked. Student work, let me just mark it. I'm just having a look at, maybe I may have marked some that have something in that may be helpful, but just give me 1 minute and I'll just see if I can find something that can give you an example. It might just help you a little bit. Let's have a look at this assignment. Oh yeah, this one's actually yeah, but there's no reference list at the end. Okay, so this is quite a nice one actually. So if you just right, this one here that I've got here, this is in text. So she's done a bit, can you see she's done a bit of in text there? Can you see that?
Yes, we can see it.
So this is in text. Now at the end, she will put the full reference in the reference. So in the in text is just the author's name and the year of the book. She's put the page. You don't have to put the page. It's just the author's name and then the year of the book. Okay. And then when she's gone onto the reference list, I don't think she's got a reference list here. Let me just see if I can find another one with the reference list in.
And would it be possible to see the start of the assignment, just to see, because to be honest, I don't have a clue how to start. And
yeah, I'm just gonna try it. Oh, God. Oh, let me just have a look, just 1 minute. I'm just looking, and these are not on business ethics. These are any assignments that I've kind of done whilst teaching at the at UK Varsity. So I just need to where's the reference?
And I have one more question, just to make sure did I understand everything correct. Before sending an assignment, we can send it over for your review and some feedbacks. Yeah, is that right?
You can, but when you've got 2 weeks, it's not a huge amount of time. So you can do that. But it depends on each assignment individually, you see, because you've only got 2 weeks to do it. Oh God, I'm just having a look. Sorry, you can do that, but it depends on. Oh, actually, this might be okay. Problem is some of these some of these assignments. Okay, so let me just show you this one. So there's this one now. Okay, I'm just thinking this might be one, and that might be another. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. Okay, so we've got this one here. Okay, this is like the heading. So the start of it, they've just put their details there. And then they've got so look, under each one, they put what they're doing. Instead of going on, they've got a contents page. So you need a contents page as well, which Carla hasn't done. There's not many assignment examples that I can show you on here. Right, let's just print out this. Okay, so can you see this?
It's a blank page.
Yeah. So
okay,
she's put her details, her name, her module, and when it was submitted, and then she's got a contents page, but it's not on there. Okay, the contents page, there's no list. Okay, then she's gone through doing the assignment, and then referenced it there in text. Okay. And then towards the end, she's done the full referencing towards the end. So she's supposed to. Can you see that's the reference? But she's only done one reference, okay? And you need more than one reference. So the other assignment that I might just get up having a look at is maybe just have a look at this one. This might be one. So can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
So task 1, but you need a contents page. He hasn't got contents page here. But towards the end, I want to show you his referencing. Can you see this is his reference list? Starts from here.
Right.
Bibliography. So he's looked at cases. He's looked at internet sources. He's looked at case law. Their secondary sources, books.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you fully reference. So in
Right.
text reference is just the author and the year, and then this is the full reference list at the end. Okay, I'm going to see if I can find one that's done a contents page for you. Maybe for a show. Let's look. It's done it like this. Can you see this one?
Nothing yet on the screen.
This keeps going off the screen. Can you see that one? Now that one, he's done a contents page.
It's loading,
but, yeah, he needs to put his details on. You need to put your name, your unit, and then your contents page is there. So what he's done on each page.
Yep.
And then references at the end. So his task, each task has the answer under it. Okay, so don't just follow that structure. And then towards the end, if we look at his references, he's got a wide range of references. Can you see them?
Mm-hmm.
Internet sources, different books, everything there.
Right.
And you use Neil Toolbox to help you. Okay, that will help you with your referencing. Let's go back to the assignment discussion as well. Right. Assignment discussion is there. So it needs to be in Harvard referencing. Keep an eye on your word count, word limit, 3,500. Task 1, task 2 is there. So useful tips. So these are some useful tips. Focus on your task. Okay, don't go over your task. Identify what you need to be asked. Command words, look at, explain, define, describe, assess, examine, clarify, compare, contrast, critically evaluate, and then Harvard referencing. As I mentioned earlier, referencing needs to be in your in-text, author and date only in brackets, okay? And it's given you an example: Slack, Johnston, Brandon Jones, 2011. And then in the reference towards the end, it needs to be the full citation. Minimum of 6 references have to be included in your bibliography. Give proper headings and subheadings. Like I said, if it's task 1, make sure you identify it as task 1. Make your document look presentable and professional. So the structure, it needs to flow, okay? Word limits 3,500 plus 10% of your flexibility. And plagiarism, make sure you reference all your work, as plagiarism is a big thing. Because you sign an assignment declaration to identify that the work that you are submitting is your work.
Shazia,
So
can I hold 1 second? So where you just mentioned that it needs to be minimum 6 to 8 references. In the earlier page, it should ensure at least 12 to 15.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If you use more, it doesn't matter. You can put it in.
Yeah, but minimum is 6, right? So I think the other one
says
I think means
people,
minimum.
Some people have put 6 in, but others have put a lot more. You don't. I don't think you get penalized for. Yeah, I don't think you get penalized for doing extra references.
Yeah, no, but I'm thinking the other way around. Downside risk. Is there a penalization if you're 6?
No.
Okay, so 6 is fine.
So the scenario. So this is the assignment. Okay, so you are working in an accountancy firm as a junior assistant in a department dealing with small and medium-sized businesses. As part of your training, you've been asked to do an initial review of the following cases for the partner, picking out the issues and discussing possible solutions and outcomes. You will need to write a report to the partner based on each case, citing relevant case law. Your report could cover all relevant legal points, discuss issues of law, and give an opinion related to the scenario where appropriate. So task 1, and this is learning outcome 2. So a lot of these resources you will get from your learning outcomes. So this is in learning outcome 2, AC 2.1, 2.2, and 2D1. And 2D1 is the distinction. So a client, Jodie Hart, who has started a new training business, wants advice on a number of issues relating to her business. You must deal with each of them below. Jodie is trying to decide whether to become a limited company, but does not know what this would involve. Your report must include, so these are the things, you must highlight this, okay? So you are identifying this as task 1. You don't have to write the question out, put task 1, and then within task 1, you'll put this heading, analyze the requirements of company law for the formation, financing, and administration of companies. And that's AC 2.1. You need to put that in. Do you understand?
Yeah, okay.
So that needs to be your heading. So you would put task 1, okay? You would put that, LO2, AC 2.1, 2.2, 2D1, and then you will do that. You would put because your report's asking you to include these 2 bits of it, okay? So the first one is to analyze the requirements of company law for the formation, financing, and administration of companies, AC 2.1. Then you will look at analyzing AC 2.2, another heading, analyze the role and responsibilities of company directors, officers, and shareholders. Is that okay?
Yeah,
so you will
okay.
have 2
It's like a
headings
case study
there.
exam for AC or ACCA. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, so each one
Yeah.
has headings of what you're doing on it.
Mhm.
So when we look at that, analyzing the requirements of company law for the formation, financing, and administration of companies, AC 2.1, which is above the first one, yeah?
Yeah.
Here, we have to cover the requirement of company formation as per Companies Act 2006 and talk about how is a company formed, limited, referring to the scenario, advantages and disadvantages, administration of companies, including board meeting, recording, keeping, filing of companies' confirmation statement, refer to learning outcome 2, slides 11 to 21. It's literally done it for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you look at that, because if it was me doing it on my degree course, we wouldn't do this, but it's literally told you what to do for the first point.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone got any questions there?
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused. So basically, in the beginning of this assignment, there was a subject that we are kind of the assistant in the company, and we have to.
Is this scenario here task 1?
So this is, in the beginning there was a subject who we are, and then this is basically the task number 1, which we as a.
This is your scenario. This is what you need to do. You're a client, okay? You're looking, this is task 1. You're a client, and the report must include these 2 elements. Now, I'm looking at them 2 elements just below, okay? So the first one is analyze the requirements of company law for the formation, and it gives you literally what you need to put in that first part of it. So you need to look at how a company is formed. You need to look at advantages and disadvantages, and you need to look at the administration of a company. And you need to look, for this bit of task 1, you need to look at learning outcome 2, slides 11 to 21 to answer this question. Is everyone okay with that?
Okay, and this is what we need
for everyone, Irene? Sorry, what do you mean this is what we need?
Sorry, I just missed that last part.
So, for your first bit of task 1, this is task 1. It's in 2 parts, yes? There.
Yes.
Yes. So the first part, okay, is here. We've just done it there. And this is what is required of you to put in that first part. It tells you down here what you need to put in that assignment bit.
Okay.
And it even tells you what slides and what learning outcome you need to look at.
Okay.
Is that clear for you, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. Then we've gone on to the second part of it. Okay, this is task 1. Analyze the role and responsibilities of a company directors, officers and shareholders, AC 2.2. Here we need to cover the roles and responsibilities of company directors, officers, secretary, and talk about the duties of the shareholders. Now this is referring again to learning outcome 2, presentation slides 22 to 26.
And Shazia, what you're showing us is the real assignment. It's on certain example. Okay, I see. So
this is the real
as you said,
assignment.
it's really done. Yeah.
Yeah, you must have access to this one. Can you see this one? This is the real assignment.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
I haven't seen
it's
it
just
yet. Okay.
what they've done is they've just put it in PowerPoint slides for you.
Okay.
But you've got access to the real one, which I'll put in the link as well for you, okay?
Yeah.
You could read a block. This is your real assignment. So this is the assignment after you've done this module, okay? You need to have a look at the role and responsibilities. You could go to that Company's House blog, which will give you the description of the roles and responsibilities. But they are on Learning Outcome 2, presentation slides 22 to 26. So this covers task 1. Okay. Now, if you want to, for task 1, if you want to gain a distinction, okay, this is for task 1, you will put this heading on. Analyze aspects of capital maintenance 2D1. That's only if you want to get a distinction. Here, you would refer to learning outcome presentation slides 35 to 43. Okay. And we need to talk about share capital of a limited company, which is regarded as a buffer for creditors. And then we need to talk about the procedure for private limited companies, covering how the rules of maintenance of capital exist in order to prevent a company reducing its capital by returning it to its members, whether directly or indirectly. This means, as a general rule, a limited company cannot reduce its share capital. So here you need to talk about the reduction of capital, S641 and CO Companies Act 2006. You need to look at reduce or cancel liabilities on party paid shares. For example, the company gives up any claim for money owing. Return capital in excess of company's needs. The company reduces its asset by repaying cash to its shareholders, and cancel the paid up capital that is no longer represented by the assets. If the company has a debt balance or reserves, it can write this off by reducing capital and thereby does not need to make good past losses. Now this, if you want to do this in task 1, this is where you will gain the distinction. Do you all understand?
Mm-hmm.
This is extension activities. So you'll do task 1, them 2 bits, and then you would put a heading if you want to do this one. It's to analyze aspects of capital maintenance 2D1. Then when the person marking it will know that you've done the distinction activity 2. Okay, so that's only if you want to get a distinction. The top bit ones are for pass.
Right. Okay.
Is that okay with everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this part, the last part, is just kind of voluntary. The first 2 are compulsory.
Sorry, what was that?
This distinction part is just kind of voluntary, like it's not compulsory.
Yeah, no, it's not compulsory. But the thing is, if you want to get a good mark, you can do it. Okay, that's why we offer the extension activities. Okay. So it's not compulsory, but it's some people want to get the distinction mark and they will do it. And some people, like you said, Noman, just do the past tasks and get on with them.
All right, okay. Sorry, Shazia, my first 2, because I was put in the wrong group, I couldn't take my first 2 lectures somehow because, I did not do like the lectures going on because I was put in the wrong financial reporting group instead of IFA. This assignment is only for this particular learning outcome, or this lecture which I just took today is only for this
for
lecture?
all 4. It's for this assignment covers learning outcome 1, 2, 3, and 4.
All right, okay.
And they've been recorded, Noman, so you could have access to them.
Okay.
Okay, so you should go onto Moodle and get access for them because this assignment covers all learning outcomes.
Yeah, I had word with I think it's Aman Singh. Yeah, so I had word with him. He said there are obviously, lectures online in a recording form. But obviously, here we can communicate with you and have this conversation. There is only videos there. So I was just a little bit confused.
This is the last learning. Well, this is the
Okay.
this assignment discussion session, the learning outcomes that we've done previously, and which I don't think you've attended. You need to look at them, learning outcome 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they cover all the assignment. Okay.
Yeah.
So the extension activity is up to you if you want to do that. Okay.
Makes sense. Okay. So basically, after this,
I think you've got your hand up, haven't you?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Sorry, what's that?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm trying to access on Moodle, and it doesn't show the assignment on there. Shall I just email admin and ask them for a copy of the assignment?
Yeah. What I might do is, if I could, you see, I had a problem doing this before, but if I could go on to, let me just stop. Actually, in your chat, if I could add it in, I will add it in. But I remember I had a problem adding in assignments last time. And yes, you see, it's not letting me put it in the chat. Oh, how would I do that? Right. The assignment is not on Moodle. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I can't see it on Moodle when I access it. I went there last week. I couldn't even see the lectures.
Can you email Learner Work?
Yeah, I'll email admin.
I think it's Learner. Yeah, just email the admin and say the assignment. But what I'll do as well, Hanish, is I'll email them and tell them to put the assignment on as well.
That's great.
Okay, so this is for task 1. Then we've got B, which is the next task. Okay, Violeta, are you okay? Yeah.
Yes, I'm trying to understand.
So this is the second task. Okay. So this is the second scenario. So scenario L, learning outcome 1. This covers learning outcome 1. Okay, AC 1.1, 1.2, 1M1, and 1D1. So you need to do this as B. Okay. On the 11th of August, Jodie asked her brother John, who was not part of the business but helping out, to approach a small business in the town where they were that was closing down. John was to tell them that Jodie was interested in buying their office furniture and equipment for £1,000, but needed to collect it and move it to her office premises by the 25th of August. The owner, Harry Parker, says he will think about it. On 14th of August, Harry sees John in a local coffee shop and says that he would like to sell the furniture and equipment, but he won't be able to part with it until the 31st of August, when he can deliver it to Jodie's office. John says this will be fine. Jodie then sends Harry an email saying she has changed her mind as her uncle has given her some furniture and equipment. Harry writes back saying they have a contract and that we'll be delivering everything on the 31st and will expect payment. Using the scenario, write a section of your report about the elements of a contract and about the agency relationship in order to advise Jodie. So for this scenario, you need to do this. In your report, you need to analyze the elements and the nature of contractual agreements, AC 1.1, and that will refer to presentation slides, learning outcome 1, 9 to 16. What are we looking at there?
Yeah, I think you told us about the case about the horse and stuff like that, right? That's
contract of employment. We're looking at contracts, aren't we? Yes, so that refers to AC 1.1, presentation, learning outcome 1, 9 to 16, slide number. Then in the second bit of it, so you would have that as the first heading, and you would explain everything on the elements and nature of contractual agreements. And then in the second part, you would have that as a heading, explain the principles of agency and their impact on business practice. AC 1.2, refer to presentation slides of learning outcome 1, 17 to 22. Okay, so it gives you the learning outcome, and it gives you the slides to do the work from.
Right.
So, you know, there's two parts to the second part, which is B. So you would need to cover them, and they're learning outcome 1. Now, to gain a merit for learning out for the second part, you would also need to put in your report assess the validity of a contract, and you would put that as 1M1, okay, to make sure that the person marking it knows that you've covered the merit part. And this would be to refer to presentation slides of learning outcome 1, 28 to 30.
Shazia, 2 questions.
Is that
One
okay?
is, yeah, that's fine. Can I ask you 2 questions? One is that the word count 3,500 plus minus 20, that includes merit or not? Because if you put merit sections, right,
Yes,
it might,
everything.
if it
includes
exceeds.
everything.
Okay, so you
I
have
think
to
you're
be
allowed
careful with it.
I think you're allowed a 10%
Margin because of that.
exceeding. But
Right.
but you know, you need to make sure that you are just answering the question that you are
Makes
being
sense.
asked and not
Right.
going over. And I think people don't realize this is only asking you for the validity of a contract.
Yes, that's right.
But you need to make sure if you are doing the merit one, that you put 1M1 and put this as a heading, assess the validity of a contract.
Yeah.
Because it identifies clearly that you've done the extension activities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. The other question is, there is no negative marking for somebody, you know, going into the merit kind of area and then, you know, not doing well. It does not, you know what I mean? There is no negative marking per se.
If you don't know, I think once you have done the areas and you've explained it as much as you can, you may get it, you know, it may be that you may pass it, you know, but it may be that they may say, okay, Najim, can you do a little bit more on it? They'll give you that option.
I see. Understood.
You should be dry now.
So I will check it. If I'm marking it, I will check it. And then if I need more on it, I will say, Najim, can you do a bit of extra in this part or this part?
Okay.
And we will give you feedback on the assignment.
Understood.
If you've done it well, then you've passed it. You don't need to. Sorry?
Sure.
I would like to ask
what was that? Sorry,
one thing.
Yeah, Violeta.
Can I ask? Yeah, sorry if I interrupt. I would like to ask, and if, for example, in the wrong scenario, something would go wrong, I mean, what would be, you are not passing, and then are you allowed to do once again?
Yeah,
or
yeah. What I will do, Violeta, I will mark it, or someone else will mark it, and they will give you feedback on what you need to improve. So you will eventually pass it. Do you understand? So it doesn't mean that you won't pass. Yeah, so we will give you feedback saying, for example, Violeta, you need to look at more on assessing the validity of a contract. If you've looked at it briefly, a little bit more on maybe the principles of agency, you know. So we will give you feedback on it.
So once we submit our assignment after 2 weeks, then you will review it. But by the way, how long does it take to review it?
I don't know. Depends on when they send me it to mark.
Okay, let's say during another 2 weeks, we will get a feedback, and after those feedback, or I mean that feedback, if there are. Yeah, it may, but if not, then we have another 2 weeks to correct all of our mistakes.
Yeah, I don't know if you get 2 weeks, but I know you'll get you get time to do it.
Okay, it's clear. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but hopefully you won't need that. Now in this B. Okay, so in the same part, which is B, what we've just looked at, the scenario where she bought the furniture. Now, if you want to get a distinction, you have to do the merit and then the distinction one, okay? So you need to look at evaluating the implications of an agency for the principal and agent is 1D1. So that's for part B if you want to get a distinction. The principal-agent relationship is an arrangement in which one entity legally appoints another to act on its behalf. In a principal-agent relationship, the agent acts on behalf of the principal and should not have a conflict of interest in carrying out the act. The relationship between the principal and the agent is called the agency, and the law of agency establishes guidelines for such a relationship. In this, you need to refer to presentation slides, learning outcome 1, 30 to 32, looking at the implications of agency relationship for the principal and the agent. Here, you need to refer to the scenario between Jodie, her brother, John, and Harry. So who is Jodie? Jodie is the principal. She's the buyer. Yes. John is the agent acting on behalf of his sister, and Harry is the seller. Okay. This is only if you want to get a distinction. Okay. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is if you want to gain a distinction on part B. So we've done part A, now part B, and this is part C. Okay. So this is learning outcome 4, AC 4.1, 4.2, 4M1. In this part C, Jodie is concerned about information and intellectual property in the business. She keeps personal details of trainees, and she has a large amount of training material that has been produced by her and her employees. She wants advice on the laws related to the data protection and intellectual property. Your report must include the following. Firstly, analyze the requirements of data protection legislation, AC 4.1, which is learning outcome 1, presentation slides 4 to 13. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is to explain how intellectual property can be protected, AC 4.2, and that's learning outcome 4, presentation slides 14 to 25. Here you need to contextualize the answer in relation to Jodie's company and training material. Training material is covered by copyright law. You can also read the IPO guidelines to help you for this bit. So you've got 2 parts to that. This is part C. Now in part C, to gain a merit, you can include the following. You need to look at assessing the importance of intellectual property rights to businesses, 4M1. Here you need to look broadly, need to cover copyrights, trademarks, patents, and trade secrets. Valuing intellectual property methodology. There are 3 methods of valuing intellectual property: cost-based, market-based, and income-based valuations. And you need to look at them, okay? So that's for C. Now, learning outcome AC 1.3 and learning outcome 4 AC 4.3 will cover D, okay? One of Jodie's employees caused a fire at a training event by using electrical equipment that was not properly checked. Several people suffered minor injuries. They are trying to sue Jodie for compensation. Jodie immediately dismisses the employee. Use the scenario to discuss the law of tort and remedies available, and discuss the employment law relating to employment contracts and termination. So this is part D, okay? Your report must include explain the law of tort and the remedies available. LO1, AC 1.1, refer to learning outcome 1, presentation slides 23 to 27. You must assess the impact of legislation relating to employment, learning outcome 4, AC 4.1, and refer to learning outcome 1, presentation slides 26 to 41.
Excuse me, that was additional task for?
Yeah, this is, there's no additional task, okay?
Okay,
For
so
D,
what does,
there's no additional task.
Oh, okay, because I'm a little bit confused what is relevant, the last part of this slide, to which task, and would you be so kind and explain a little bit?
What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean. So in
so
task,
the last, I didn't
one,
understand. I didn't understand the last this slide number 16. I didn't understand to which task or part of the task it's relevant. Oh, so if we would go ahead for 1D1, this kind of a scenario
no, listen, no, you've got, listen, in task 1, you've got A, B, C, D, yes? They're the assessments that you have to do in task 1, okay? So if you go on to the D, it's asking you about what your report must include. So it must include explain the law of tort and remedies available. I refer to learning outcome presentation slides 23 to 27. That is what you need to do. And then assess the impact of legislation relating to employment. Learning outcome 4 and its presentation slides refer to learning outcome 1, presentation slides 26 to 41. And that is your part in D. There's no extension activities to do for merit or distinction, okay? So you just have to do them. In some of them, you will get extension activities. In some of them, you won't get extension activities. Okay?
Yeah,
so
that's
you've
clear.
covered A, B, C, and D. Sorry? Is that clear?
That is clear. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. So you may not get them in some of them, but you need to cover all the elements of pass. To get a pass, you need to cover all that. So then you've got task 2. There's a lot. It's a lot to do, but a lot. Like you've got task 1. Within task 1, we've just been through A, B, C, and D. Now this is task 2. Okay, so this is separate. Dalion Limited, a small loans company, are insolvent. They want a number of assets which are subject to fixed and floating charges and owe a large amount of corporation tax. They are also being investigated for money laundering and other offences, including poor lending practices, bribing a government official, and gaining unauthorised access to competitors' computers in order to access their clients. They have failed to operate in accordance with legislation and guidelines on responsible lending. They want advice on insolvency and possible criminal charges. Now, all the assignments we've just been through, task 1, and this is task 2. It covers all your 4 learning outcomes. Now, if you haven't attended, you might struggle. So that's why you need to look at all your 4 learning outcomes. Everything I've taught from learning outcome 1, 2, 3, and 4 is in this assignment. So this one is on insolvency and criminal offences. So for task 2, you need to look at learning outcome 2, AC 2.3, learning outcome 3, AC 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4. So in task 2, in this report, you must include these 5 elements. Firstly, the heading, explain the process of insolvency for business organisations, 2.3. Refer to learning outcome 2, presentation slides 27 to 32. Secondly, another heading, you must analyse the relationship between legal principles, legislation, case law, and ethical codes, which is AC 3.1. And then you must refer to learning outcome presentation slides 4 to 16. Then the next bit of it is explain the elements and consequences of malpractice, fraud, and bribery in business organizations, AC 3.2, and refer to learning outcomes presentations 17 to 24. Then the next element of task 2 is explain offences and penalties relating to money laundering, AC 3.3, refer to learning outcome 3, presentation slides 25 to 30. Then the next element, which is a fifth bit of it, is explain offences and penalties relating to computer misuse and cybercrime, AC 3.4, refer to learning outcome 3, presentation slides 31 to 42. Now, to gain a merit for this, you must look at 2M1, and you must advise on the insolvency process for a given situation, AC 2M1. Refer to learning outcome presentation slides 33 to 34. Look at bankruptcy, debt relief order, individual voluntary arrangement, insolvency help, debt advice, and restructuring debt. And that would give you your merit. Do you understand? So this is the extension activity to task 2. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
And one more question.
Yes.
If we want to get this 2M1, we need clearly to stay somewhere on a side that this belongs to 2M1, yeah?
You need to put that heading. Can you see that heading? Advise on the insolvency process for a given situation, and then in brackets, AC2M1. Vailita, is that clear? As a heading. So then when the person's marking it, they know you've done the merit ones.
Yes, now it's clear. Thanks.
And you would need to put that in the contents page as well. Everything that you're doing needs to go in your contents page to show that you're covering the merit ones and the past ones and the distinction ones.
And this, I'm sorry, against this constant page, it should be in the beginning, yeah?
What do
She
mean
mean
it should be in the
content
beginning?
page. She mean content.
Oh yeah,
page.
in the contents page. Yeah, contents page should be in the beginning. Yes.
Can you
Okay.
show us the
And-
content page again later on?
Yeah, I'll try and let me go through this and then I'll try and find another assignment. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So then the plenary here is to refer to your ebooks and journals on Moodle. Assignment submission is 2 weeks after the completion of the unit. And then if you're using the UK Varsity slides, which we've gone through, then this is how you should reference them. Business Environment 2021. So if you're taking something out of the slides, reference it like that. Can you see? Business Environment 2021 or Learning Outcome 2 2021.
Okay.
And in the bibliography, you would put Business Environment, Learning Outcome 1, slide number 2 to 10, UK Varsity. Do you understand that? So if you're using the slides or anything out of the slides, that's how you should be referencing that.
Okay.
Okay. Submission is to be done on learnerwork@ukvarsity.co.uk. Any queries, please email Raman. I'm going to go through. Has anyone got any questions about this or anything?
I only have one
I have-
question.
okay, would you-
This is really. Sorry,
2 weeks
what-
starts
would
from
you be-
today.
Sorry, one person at a
Does-
time, please. Who was speaking first?
Does 2
Najam,
weeks
yeah?
starts today?
Yeah. So you could start doing it now because it's fresh in your head. And these slides, I will be honest with you, they're really, really clear. They tell you which presentation slides you need to go look at.
Okay. Yep.
So
Okay,
you've got
thank you.
task 2, you've got task 1. Within task 1, you've got four tasks to do. Within task 2, you've got the tasks to do as well. And if you want to do your extension activities, it's up to you. Okay.
Excuse me, would you be so kind and just shortly tell, because I was a little bit confused with the task 1. Could you clearly just shortly say which is A, B, C, because and D, because I was
Okay, so if
confused
you
with
go
the
back
task
to
1.
the
With the
task
task 2
one.
was okay.
Okay, task 1 starts here. This is a scenario, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So it starts here. This is task 1, yes? A, can you see that bit there? A.
Yeah, yeah.
This is all to do on A, right? Then this is still task 1, A. And then you start task 1A, still task 1 for extension. Then B, can you see B then? There?
Okay,
Yes.
so B, it was about furniture, yeah?
Yes, you need to look at this in your own time as well, please. And then C, this is all B, okay? And then here, you've got C, where she had to produce intellectual property, yeah?
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then it says C next to it, Violeta. And then if you go to here, this is the last one. Can you see that? D. The fire.
Then D, a fire, okay.
It's not the fire. Sorry, it was the trade. Yeah, it was the fire one. Yeah, that's D. So that covers task 1. Okay. And then you go on to task 2, which is
Yes.
quite clear, isn't it? Yeah.
Task 2 was okay, but with task 1,
Yeah.
I was a little bit
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, what I wanted to do, Violeta, was try and send you this stuff, but I don't know how I'm going to do it because it doesn't really it doesn't give me the option of doing it. But what I'll do is I'll get this on Moodle. So this is the assignment. Look, can you see this is the assignment? It's just what's in the slides.
Yes, that's fine.
But I'm going to
Yes.
try and I don't know how to attach it to you, but actually what you can do is maybe you might be able to, if you this, how many of you on here now? No man's left. If you lot can email me, okay, on my email, it's shazia@ukvarsity.co.uk. I can send you this tonight. Is that okay, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I will email you in a minute.
Yeah. I will.
Yeah, if you send me an email on ukvarsity.co.uk. I can email you what I have, what we've gone through and the assignment stuff. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
So please send me an email. I'm just going to see if I can find the contents page for you, Irene. Okay, 1 minute.
Thank you.
It's all right, don't worry. Let me see. Maybish. Where are they?
Shazia, would you mind to repeat your email, because I don't have it.
Right, it's Shazia at ukvarsity.co.uk.
Shazia, is there anything else important we needed to talk? I got to go.
No,
okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Are you okay with the contents page?
Yes, I know what to do.
Excellent. Yes. It was nice teaching you, Najam, and take care. Good luck with your assignment. Okay. Can you see this? That's how you do a contents page. Irene.
Yep, we do see.
But you can write it out. You can write the whole thing out, the heading, and then put page 3, page 4. This person hasn't wrote it out. Do you understand? So within task 1, if you have A to D, you can put A and then write which page A is, D, which page D or B or C is. Okay, this is a contents page. Make sure you put your name, and this is how they've done the assignment. So each element is, each heading is the assignment part. Do you understand? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, Irene, do you understand that? Are you okay with that? Irene?
Sorry, I was speaking. I didn't realize I was on mute.
Right.
Can we see page 1, please?
Yeah, page 1 is that there. Can you see that?
Yes. Okay.
But you can put the whole thing. You can put task 1, part A, and then write part A, and then put pages. This lady hasn't put the full thing. She just put AC 1.1, which is quite confusing. So if you just, what you do is just put in task A. I'll just give you an example. So if you had to put in your contents, you could put this in.
I think you did show there's another one.
Yeah, if you just put that in. Yeah, if you put this in, this is the first part, yeah?
Yeah.
If you put that in your contents, Irene, and put the page number next to it, then that will cover that element. Then if you put this in the contents page and then put 1.1 to 5, that will cover that element. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then if you go into doing, if you do, sorry?
And the very, very first page should contain the name of the assignment, or
your name,
would you mind to share?
It should contain your name, your module, which is law for accounting, and your number, and it should include the date you submitted as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there any other questions before we finish off?
Yeah,
and
number.
What I'll do
what
is
kind
I'll
of number did you mean?
What do you mean number? What I don't.
You have mentioned name.
Number. What?
Yeah. You have mentioned name, model,
and
then
your
number.
College number. Do you have a number, an ID number?
Oh, ID number. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you have a number or no ID number? College student number.
Not really sure, but we'll
if
find out.
If you just put, you will have one if you've registered on the course. You get a number.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'll do is, if you send me an email, has anyone got any other questions before we finish the session? Hanish? No?
No,
Are you okay,
don't-
Hanish, with yours? Hanish, are you okay with yours?
yes, I understand. Thank you so
Good.
much, Azia. I will
It's
email
okay,
you
don't worry about it.
requesting
Yeah,
for
thank
the-
you. Irene, are you okay?
Yes, yes, I'm okay. I'll send an email so that you're able
Thank
to send me the.
thank you.
transcript.
And I'll send you what I've got. And Francetta, and
Yes,
are you
hi,
okay?
yes, I
Hi.
am. I've just sent the email across actually. So
Excellent.
yeah, that's
It's quite clear. Don't worry about it because it's quite clear from the slides which learning outcomes you need to cover and what you need to put in it. Okay, so don't worry about anything because it's there for you and it shows you how. If you struggle, just email me. I'll try and help you during the week and stuff. But I do teach otherwise, so don't worry. I will email you back. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna email you what I've got in regards to the assignment. I think I've only got an email from Najim only at the moment. And
yes.
the rest of you, please email me. It's shazia@ukvarsity.co.uk. Okay?
yeah. I've sent an
Thank
email
you.
across. I've sent an
Excellent.
email
Have you
across.
sent it now, Francetta?
Yeah, I've sent it.
Have
Yeah.
you just sent it? Yeah, excellent. I've just got it now. Thank you.
I'm gonna
Thank you for
send.
attending.
Yeah, I'm gonna send my
Excellent.
work to finish now.
Thank you. Thank you, Irene. Thank you. And thank you for attending the session. And it was lovely teaching the ones that have been here from the start and everyone. And good luck with your assignment, everyone. If you've got any sort of questions, just email me. You've got my email address now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shazia.
Thank you,
Violeta.
Shazia. Thank you.
It's
Bye
okay.
bye.
Thank you. And I'll send you the stuff tonight. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you once again and have a lovely day.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.